My friend, in an attempt not to be punny or to be a paranamasiac, put me in the penitentiary. But this is very simply about Candace Owens' explosive theory or hypothesis that Charlie Kirk was killed by a rigged RØDE lavalier mic, not some PATSY shooter that nobody's been able to link either to any kind of weapon or anything else. And you know there's something true because you only take flack when you're over the target. Nobody would be going crazy like this, including the FBI and oh, what's his name? You know, our friend, if there was not something to this. I'm going to go over this very carefully with you and give you my take. But first, let me remind you of something. Seriously. In the event of some type of disaster, you may very well have to get out of your house like that. Do you have a bug out bag, as it's called? Do you have something that you can grab right away that's got everything you need to be on the road a la Kerouac? Well, if you don't, listen to this. When disaster hits, you don't rise to the occasion. You fall back on what you already prepared. Wildfires, floods, hurricanes, tornadoes, blackouts, EMP and grid attacks, riots, disaster. Get it? And when the warning comes, there's no time to search for flashlights or bottled water or first aid supplies while your family waits at the door. That's why My Patriot Supply created the fully stocked bug out bag. You've got to get this. It's a rugged, grab and go tactical backpack packed with 60 emergency essentials, including food, water, shelter, fire, starting tools, lighting, first aid, and more. Everything is already packed and ready right out of the box. Keep one in your car, your home, your RV, your office, your cabin, because emergencies never make appointments. And right now, you can get $100 off plus free shipping for a limited time. So act now. There will be no special invitation in life. Disaster always comes unannounced. Get prepared now. Go to preparewithlionel.com. That's preparewithlionel.com and click the link today. That's right, my friends. This is about, again, not to be punny, this is an explosive theory. Hypothesis. Charlie Kirk was killed by a rigged RØDE lavalier mic and not the PATSY Tyler Robinson. And the official story pushed by authorities and the cops and mainstream media collapses under any kind of legitimate scrutiny. On September the 10th of last year, Charlie Kirk, founder of TPUSA, speaking at Utah Valley University in Orem, Utah, was speaking to a group of convocation, and during his American comeback tour, when he was struck in the neck by something and killed, and you know, and I know, it wasn't a 30-06, and it sure as hell wasn't a 30-06 from Granddaddy's shooting iron. Now, law enforcement and prosecutors quickly pinned the assassination on a 22-year-old named Tyler James Robinson, labeling him, of course, as the lone gunman, the lone wolf, acting out of some kind of uncontrollable ideological hatred for Charlie because of what he says about trans, or I don't. They cite DNA on a rifle. It's his rifle. Engraved bullets, a supposed confession note, and videos. And by the way, all types of other communications. Now, I've been through this a million times. The ATF, nobody can connect that rifle or any rifle with anything. You understand that, right? It's critical. You might as well. This is a lint brush. This lint brush has as much to do with that murder as that rifle. Not to mention this little hole was not from a 30-06. And the confessions are not. We've already been through that. But Candace Owens and a growing number of independent, brave investigators reject this narrative entirely, and they argue that Tyler Robinson was either a patsy, a distraction, or part of a larger setup. And the real cause of death, the actual cause of death, they contend, or review for your consideration, was a sophisticated inside job assassination using a directional explosive charge hidden in the RØDE wireless lavalier mic strapped to Charlie's shirt. And as Candace said today, he never really used these. He always had a microphone. He loved a microphone. And all of a sudden, here, wear this. Candace, who was once, of course, closely tied to Turning Point circles, has led the charge in exposing common sense and what she calls, and many of us call, a blatant cover-up. And in episode after episode of her incredible podcast, she dismantles this lone gunman fairy tale and builds a compelling case for betrayal by insiders with access to Charlie Kirk's equipment. The exploding RØDE mic theory isn't fringe speculation. It's grounded in video evidence, wound anomalies, rapid evidence tampering, ostensibly, up to and including paving over the crime scene, and the suspicious behavior of those closest to the stage. It's incredible. And in rejecting the Tyler Robinson distraction, let me provide you this. The authorities' case, the cops, the police, their case against Tyler reeks of convenience, for lack of a better word. A young man with a bolt-action rifle on a rooftop, 175 yards away, supposedly fires the perfect shot at the exact moment that Charlie answers a question. DNA, alleged engraved memes on bullets, and a note, and other aspects, Discord and text, whatever, are presented as some kind of slam dunk proof. Yet, Candace and a number of incredible deep dive analysts point out massive holes, unlike the small hole, sad to say, in Charlie's neck. That did not come from a 30-06 Mauser 98. Got some problems with the case. The ballistics don't fully match the wound track. The supersonic crack in some audio doesn't align perfectly with the timeline. And Tyler Robinson's background appears tailored to fit a radicalized lone wolf profile that conveniently divides the right, so to speak, while shielding real perpetrators. Why? Why? My God, how many times have you seen this? Why was Tyler Robinson allowed onto a campus with clear sight lines? Why were full unreleased audio files and complete autopsy details withheld? Why the rush to declare closure while key footage remains under wraps to this day? Candace Owens has repeatedly stated that Tyler Robinson may have been manipulated or positioned as the fall guy, the patsy, while the actual kill mechanism was already in place on Kirk's body. The directional charge in the mic explains, or could explain, the injury far better than a distant rifle. A distant rifle round shot from a rifle that shows excuse me, no evidence of it ever being fired, that gunpowder dogs couldn't detect, and that could not have been fired because of a safety mechanism that could not have been opened with the scope on top. This wasn't a random shooting. It was an engineered hit designed to look like one, as is alleged. Now the key, the rigged RØDE microphone, which is the core of this hypothesis. Charlie Kirk wore a standard wireless lavalier, or lapel, if you will, mic from RØDE, a popular brand for live events. Now, these small devices include a clip-on mic and a transmitter pack, often hidden under clothing or near the collar. Now, according to this theory, this specific unit was tampered with, apparently, obviously beforehand, by someone with backstage access, maybe staff, maybe security, maybe event insiders. A miniature-shaped directional charge, possibly using PETN or a similar high explosive common in covert operations, but the hypothesis is that it was embedded in the mic or its battery pack, and shaped charges focus explosive force in one direction, creating a powerful jet that can mimic bullet cavitation internally while producing external signs like shirt disruption, flying cores, and the like. Now, advocates or proponents of this argue that this device detonated at the precise moment, sending a lethal force upward into Charlie's neck and chest area. Slow motion analysis of raw event footage, heavily promoted by Ms. Owens, our friend, shows critical anomalies. At the instant of impact, Charlie's shirt puffs outward unnaturally. A white cord consistent with a lavalier wire flies upward dramatically. Witnesses and zoomed in frames reveal what looks like a brief puff or a vapor from the chest area. Not the clean entry expected from a high velocity rifle round. A person on stage immediately grabs and pockets the microphone or cord remnants, behavior that Candace and others label as, well, perhaps evidence cleanup or something like that, and certainly not some type of panic response. This fastidious tidiness is not normally the reaction after something of this magnitude. Then we look at the wound inconsistencies and forensic red flags. The official autopsy claims a gunshot wound, but independent reviewers question the fragments recovered. Reports circulating in alternative investigations suggest that the debris included shattered plastic and electronic components matching RØDE mic materials, not typical bullet jacket or core fragments. The neck and upper chest injury trajectory aligns better with an upward directed blast from a chest mounted device than a downward angled shot from a rooftop 175 yards away. A distant rifle round would likely produce a different cavitation, exit wound patterns, blood splatter. Instead, the visible damage and Charlie's immediate collapse fit exactly the profile of a close proximity directional explosive. Now, some technical breakdowns, including modeling by investigators, and you've seen this, demonstrate how a small shaped charge could replicate the fatal trauma while minimizing obvious external explosion signs. Perfect, perfect for a deniable assassination. Candace has highlighted the lack of, among other things, explosive residue testing made public and the rapid removal. Think about this, the rapid removal of all audio equipment from the scene. Why destroy or hide the supposed murder weapon, the mic, if the rifle was the culprit? Was this an inside job? Some betrayal from within? You know, the mic had to be rigged by someone Kirk trusted. And this points to, it is suggested, insiders at Turning Point USA, event security, technical staff. Candace has aired suspicions about certain individuals who were too eager, ostensibly too eager in the immediate aftermath, or people who handled equipment suspiciously and later pushed the official narrative aggressively. All these have to be looked at. She's played alleged internal recordings and questioned motives tied to power struggles, financial control, external influences, and broader theories, by the way, advanced and alleged and brought to the fore by Candace, include foreign orchestration with, I'm sorry, maybe not from her per se, but whispers of Israeli or other intel ties due to Kirk's evolving positions and paying homage, so to speak, and a tribute to people who would have to have the know it or the wherewithal to do this. Remember, it was suggested and not forgotten that some aspects of Israeli intel, and remember, nobody is making any suggestions or accusing anyone or any group or any agency or any country of being involved. We're just looking at this in terms of, if this were a mystery, if this were a Columbo episode, who would be the suspects? But there are folks who love to talk about exploding pagers and wow, isn't that interesting? Incredible technology. So again, while there's no direct evidence of it, it makes you think, there's been suggestions of deep state involvement, or maybe some coordinated effort to eliminate a rising conservative voice before major 2026 shifts. You know, the quick lone gunman resolution served to shut down deeper questions about who really benefited from Charlie's death. His organization's direction, maybe upcoming exposés, political realignments, all of these factors have to be looked at and looked at very carefully. And it's fascinating. Then there's additional red flags. Additional red flags include unreleased full stage audio that might reveal a different sound signature, not a different or a distant rifle crack, a rapid area cleanup before full forensic sweeps. Keep in mind that inconsistencies in timeline reports and pressure on witnesses. One circulating rumor involves a later accidental explosion at a facility linked to mic manufacturing or handling, potentially silencing technical witnesses. Candace Owens and her investigation and the pushbacks are all fascinating. You see, since the dispatch of Charlie, Candace has operated her own tip line. She's dissected footage frame by frame and confronted the establishment narrative head on. She met with Charlie's widow, Erica, but refused to abandon her questions, leading to public tensions. Candace frames this as honoring Charlie's legacy by demanding truth and not accepting some convenient scapegoat. You see, mainstream sock puppet outlets, the usual suspects, and some conservative figures, see, they dismiss the exploding mic theory as, of course, baseless, crazy, tinfoil hat conspiracy ride, or conspiracy mongering. You got to watch that mongering. They cite audio of a rifle report and insist the mic remained intact. See, but Candace counters that partial releases and control narratives are part of the cover-up, maybe. Forensic consensus in official channels supports the rifle, but yet independent analysts continue finding discrepancies that authorities refuse to address openly and transparently. Supporters of this theory, the ones who believe in this stuff, point to historical precedents of sophisticated assassination tech, disguised explosives, and everyday items used by intel agencies. You have to be a fool not to know this. A RØDE mic is the perfect vector, ubiquitous, trusted, and rarely scrutinized, right there on you, on your person. There was a video where somebody showed one time how the angle is perfect. It's perfect. Years ago, there were Israeli, and I say this out of absolute respect and awe for the ability to think. There was somebody called, I think it was the Mechanic, perhaps, but it was an individual identified as a terrorist, and they wanted to get him. So what they did was they had his phone intercepted by a family member, and they replaced his phone with a little PETN or something, who knows, and they gave it back to him, so that when the person put the phone to his ear and said hello, they said goodbye, and it shows through this directional force to his ear. And the theory also is twofold, of course, to dispatch the target, but also to let them know you can't get away from us. Again, not saying it's Israel. I'm just saying, and there are other people as well. Listen, if one country can do it, others can do it as well. The state of the art of intel is pretty much shared. Five Eyes got to, they take from the best of the world. I'm just saying. So why this matters? You have to look at the big picture, rejecting the Tyler Robinson lone gunman story. See, it's not about ignoring evidence. It's about demanding all evidence. You see, the official account protects powerful interests, while a sophisticated, fascinating, mic-based hit explains the visuals, the forensics, and access patterns far more convincingly. See, Charlie Kirk was a threat to many agendas. He was outspoken, influential among youth, unafraid to challenge establishments. As of mid-2026, Tyler Robinson's legal proceedings drag on, with hearings focused on procedural issues rather than full transparency. They still haven't gotten the information requested from the FBI. But Kash Patel and his FBI are quick on the move immediately with rapid fire response to address any kind of claims that, or any request that Candace would make in a FOIA request. But giving evidence over, pursuant to Brady against Maryland, no. You see, the exploding RØDE mic theory, amplified by Candace and others, continues gaining traction among a lot of people. A lot of people. And it raises uncomfortable questions. Again, who had access to Charlie's gear? What was the true kill mechanism? That's really the story. And who ordered the hit that a PATSY rifleman was meant to obscure? See, the truth may never emerge from official channels, probably not, but the anomalies, the flying cord, the shirt puff, the pocketed mic, the mismatched fragments, all refuse to disappear. And Candace Owens, in her relentless, indefatigable pursuit, keeps the real questions alive in a case that demands answers beyond the convenient scapegoat. Oh, this is fascinating. This is so how people ask, why are you always talking about Candace Owens? Are you kidding me? This is the greatest story ever. It's a whodunit. It's a why they do it. It's intrigue. It's everything. And what I'd like you to do is think about this very carefully. Please, my friend, like this video. Please make sure you are subscribed and resubscribed. We're finding out that people who subscribe to us are being unsubscribed. I don't know why. So please make sure you are subscribed. Hit that little bell so you're notified of live streams and new videos. And I've got some questions for you. I put a series of 5 questions up for you. And I want you to think about them. Answer them. Join the discussion and comment as you see fit.